My son had a full post-mortem. Was his brain put into his chest?
Well, a full post-mortem is a wide suture with the whole chest and cavity open. Also, I'm not sure if you realise if there was a total full autopsy that the head post was done. That means the head was opened. If you're asking was his brain placed back in his chest, he must have had the head post as well. So when the brain is removed from the head, it's very jelly and it's not solid because it's not embalmed. So it's very difficult to manipulate back into the head. So it does go with all the other organs. It's placed in with all the other organs that were removed from the cavity. And it is placed back in the cavity with all the other organs and then sutured back up. It's just too difficult to get it back into the head. It won't go back in because it's basically, unfortunately, it's like a very soft jelly and it folds and slides right open. So very sorry about your son, but yeah, it would all be, he would still have everything put together in his chest. Yeah, hope that helped you.
Hey Tracy.
Hello.
We had a question today.
Yes.
I'm so keen to get into the industry. How did you get started?
Okay, so what I did was I basically rang every funeral home in the area. I wrote out my CV or resume, however you want to say it, in a letter of interest and sent it to all the funeral homes. And I got a call back one day from a funeral home saying they were doing an open day, because some funeral homes do open days. Come along, it's a career day, so people can come along. And that's what I did. I went to this career day, went along. I wanted to work in the mortuary, but unfortunately it's really hard to get into the mortuary. So I actually got a job as an FDA, which is a funeral director's assistant. So if you can get a job doing anything, you get your foot into the door, and then after that, this is where I am today. So that's the best way to do it. I recommend that way.
When one of my cousins passed away, I noticed some leakage through his ears. Is that normal?
Oh wow, yeah. No, not normal. There shouldn't be any leakage through the ears. It could possibly be a number of things. One, after they've washed him and dried him and prepped him, they just maybe haven't dried his ears properly. So it could be just a little as simple as a bit of water, you know, because you know how we get water in our ears when we have a shower and things. So it could be that. It could be that he's starting to purge, where we have what we call brain purge, which maybe never happened during the preparation. But leakage can start to happen, so it can be just like, it's like a yellowy liquid kind of thing. So it could possibly be that. Or it could be some moisturizer that the funeral home used to keep the skin moisturized, and that's starting to melt and it looks a little bit wet and damp. So it could be a number of them things, that's all. But I wouldn't think it was anything really to worry about. Thanks for that question, good question.
Hey Tracy.
Oh, hello. Hello, hi.
Have you ever worked on a shark attack victim?
Oh, okay, good question. Now, I've never cared for anybody that's been killed by a shark, but I have cared for people that have died in rivers in the sea and have had shark bites. And you can see the shark bites, because here in the Brisbane River, I've had a few people die there, and we've got a lot of bull sharks, so the smaller sharks. And you can tell by the bite marks on the body that the shark bites. So they actually haven't killed the person, but they've had a little bit of a nibble and a little go. So yes, I've cared for them. And I would wash, seal that wound, suture that wound, patch it all up, make sure I rebuild. Say there's a little chunk out here, build it with false skin and patch it and do some suturing and put a patch over and cover and bandage, and you know, they look like there's been no mark on them whatsoever. So yeah, great question, but I have done that.
I just watched the YouTube video of Tracy, and she said family don't often get to meet the mortician. If requested, is that something a family could do?
Yeah, it's true. I'm in the background, nobody knows I exist. I'm actually a different entity. I'm not here. Yeah, the family can request to meet me, and I have met a few families. So yeah, because we're in the back doing all the work in the background, nobody actually gets to see us unless we're doing a family dressing or reviewing with the family. But then often it's a funeral director that'll help out there. So, but if a family requests to meet me, I'd be more than happy to meet them. It'll end in tears because I cry, because I'm a crier, and then I get to meet the person that I've just cared for. So Yeah, so yeah, if anybody wants to meet me, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
How is a Muslim deceased handled, knowing that they have rituals?
Okay, here in Brisbane area where we are in Queensland, we actually have dedicated funeral homes for the Muslim cultures and their traditions. So I actually don't know the full details of it, but I do know Muslims are cared for and have to be buried normally within 24 hours. And they're wrapped in a shroud, they're cleaned and wrapped in a shroud and buried without a coffin or a casket. Like I say, it has to be within 24 hours. So we don't get practicing Muslims here, but we have had a few Muslims that are non-practicing Muslims, and families have gone through basically saying that we still like them in a shroud, which is quite a tradition for the Muslims, but in a coffin and a normal preparation. And sometimes they may ask for a male to do that. And our boss is a mortician, so we'll get the boss in to do any males that any families request us to do. So there's not a problem. We can cater for different cultures because we do have a male and female working here. We can actually dedicate ourselves to different cultures sometimes. But no, they usually have a dedicated funeral home, so we don't usually get a lot of Muslims in to our care. Fabulous question, I like that.
How do you control the smell so the families don't smell it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just clarify a fact here. Bodies actually don't smell. Okay, so we're talking about somebody that may be starting to have a bit of decomposition starting lightly, or maybe some purges happened. We've washed, we've cleaned, everything's gone, but there might be still a bit of an odor. So there's a really good trick I do have. Is this stuff here. It's a VM3 powder, and basically what this does, this powder here, I'll open the lid so you can have a quick speaky inside. So have a look in there. And it has a really nice smell to it, and what that does, it actually absorbs smell from the atmosphere. It absorbs any liquid too, if there was any liquid. It's a bit like that stuff when you were at school when you're little and you vomited everywhere and they piled it on, it would soak it up and keep it in one spot and get rid of that smell. So it's just an odor derived, what you call it, I can't even say my words, but it gets rid of the odors, it soaks up any moisture, and it's actually got a really nice smell. I like the smell of this VM3, so that's how I would do it.
We had a comment today. Does our body digest most of our organs when we die?
Oh, yum, 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 yum. I think you're thinking about bacteria in our gut that digests our food. Look, our body is covered in bacteria. We're actually riddled with bacteria. We have bacteria in our stomach, our gut, bacteria on the outside of our skin, in our eyebrows, our eyelashes. We have bacteria covering our body everywhere. So when we pass away and we start to break down, bacteria does its job, as is we're organic substances, and we have a bacteria in our body that breaks the body down. So actually we don't get eaten from like the gut doesn't start eating our body. What happens is the bacteria then takes over. This bacteria that needs to clean everything up. So you see a dead animal on the roadside and you'll see it breaks down and it starts being eaten away. It's the bacteria that's breaking it down. So yes, it's a bacteria. Our stomach actually and our guts doesn't actually start eating us when we die. It's just all down to them little tiny bacteria that you can't see. We've got billions of them all over us. So yeah, great question though. I like that one, yeah.
This is my family, you are my people.